We've all thought about making our own local film. Well, how much does it cost? How can we pay for it? How do we get a script? Well, we'll introduce you to two men who have made not one, but three great local movies called Borderlords. Creative people always say to themselves, you know what? I could make a movie, I could write a movie, I could shoot a movie. Well, it's harder than it looks, and joining me now are two of my close friends that not only did one local film, they've done three. Mark Anthony Love and Billy Towns. Nice to see you, gentlemen.
Oh, great to see you. Here. Great to be here, Robert.
Mark Anthony Love, you are the executive producer of Borderlords 1, 2, and soon to be released number 3.
That is correct, fortunately.
And this is your fine director, Billy Towns.
That's right.
All right, so let's talk about making a local film. Everybody thinks about it. It's harder than it looks.
You know what? It is. The way, our methods of what we do, the way we approach it is with planning. And the plans that we've been doing for all three, but especially for this one, Borderlords 3, we were in at least a good 3-month stages of planning. And it took his phone call of convincing me, hey, Billy, we can do this. We have our experience doing A, B, and C and everything like that. And we're getting from our fans, our supporters, we should put out number 3. And he convinced me and said, you know what? And he sat down there and gave me down the litany of things of why we should do it. You know what? You are right. And he was right. And Mark was right. But our planning, I'm putting it together. I said, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And plan everything as far as how we're going to set the shots, who we're going to get, everything. We just did a lot of planning to prepare for this.
Mark, take us back to the original one. When did you first sit down and start the process of, oh my gosh, we're going to make a movie?
Well, I tell you, Billy and myself are film buff fans. We watch a lot of film, of course, as anyone else. However, early on, I would say about 2002, Billy and I were partnering on a lot of other projects, right? From music to everything. So we decided to say, hey, Mark, you have a talent agency full of great talent of El Paso. We both have connections, we love films. At the time, we were working with a TV show, and we said, Hype Radio at the time, and we said, let's put a couple of episodes just on our public access show, see what happens. Well, we did that, and we got a great response, and it warranted us to get together, hold a massive audition, 1,200 plus people.
1,200 people audition?
We were there all day.
The city came out in support. Billy and I said, let's do this.
We were there for 2 days.
We casted, we started Borderlords 1, and production began. And we put everything together, and might I add, organized, planning, everything. It doesn't matter if we're a small project or large, we got it done. And now we're our 3rd film.
Money. Everybody always goes, well, it's going to cost some money to put something like this together. How did you get financing, or did you self-finance?
Basically, we had our supporters. Of course, we put in our own, but we had some supporters that contributed some funds to us. And you know what? In the planning, we went through our analytics as far as how much everything would cost. And we're pros at trimming down costs. And we got it down to where we could afford it with some help from supporters and everything. And that's how we did it. And we did it with 5 figures. And it would, if we didn't do that, it would have cost a lot more. But we went every single thing from our experience that we had, to be fair on both sides of paying people and what we can get in kind. We trimmed down everything to where we can afford it, and you know what? It worked. And with the advent, of course, with software and things that we can do at home, that helped a lot too.
Story idea. What is Borderlords?
Borderlords, basically, the story without giving too much away, has always been about families on the border of El Paso having conflict, and they go to war sometimes, as do families do. In this case, it's spanned over 3 films. And we're showing how one family has grown from the beginning of one, and they've actually carried on each film. And we're showing how they've aged, how they've gained, how they've lost, what they've experienced, emotions. Everything is in these set of films to show a lifestyle and a life of particular people. And that's what makes the story interesting.
Billy, you were a musician. You're a great musician. And how did you know you could direct? Was it a lot of on-the-job training?
Yeah, it was, but I'm a lover. I was a lover of film since I was young. I produced, and I wish I could find them, I produced cartoons when I was in middle school. My dad gave me a camera, and I, frame by frame, produced cartoons. So I got the idea of planning and directing films and all that stuff. But you're right, on the job, you know, when we started number one, we just had fun until we find out we can do it better here, we can do it better here, and until now, it's like we've taken up the professional approach as far as, okay, this is how we do it, this is how we see it. We had some friends who were directors, and it's just learning on the job, but my own twist of how can I make this better, what's my vision. I mean, you're one of our, you know, I learned to communicate with actors, what's the best we can get out of it, and working with people, that's how I direct.
Okay, well, coming up, yes, he mentioned me. I'm in Borderlords 2 and 3, and with all the experience and everything you've learned, a really great movie is coming out. We'll talk about that coming up.